And I'm Dylan Black, the Canadian History Hall, a beautiful exhibit at the Canadian Museum of History. With us right now to talk about this new exhibit is the director, Chantal Amyot. How are you?
Very well, thank you.
Wonderful to see you here.
Thank you.
So throughout the summer months, we can look forward to this brand new exhibit, the Canadian History Hall at the Museum of History.
Correct. For Canada's 150th.
Which is wonderful.
Yes, it's a very big exhibit. It's 40,000 square feet.
Wow.
And it talks about 15,000 years of Canadian history.
15,000 years. Okay, so we'll go through all the process of how you chose what, and a lot of people in the community helped you out as well. But where exactly will it be in the museum?
It's right at the heart of the museum. For those who know the museum, it's where the Canada Hall and the Canadian History, Canadian Personalities Hall used to be. So we're not touching the Grand Hall with the totem poles. It's not that area. It's upstairs on the 3rd floor.
Okay. Your venue, your museum is so classy and beautiful. And I know that every time like heads of state come in and all that, it's like they're always just hanging out in the Grand Hall.
It's absolutely gorgeous. Everything is gorgeous. I've been there 29 years and I'm still marveling at it.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay. So what can we look forward to exactly with this brand new exhibit?
Well, it's the stories for Canadians about their history. So 15,000 years of history, and we go back and we integrate Indigenous culture throughout the history, and we explain to Canadians how Canada got to be what it is today.
Okay. So is it interactive? Is it very extremely visual? I mean, we're seeing some photos.
So that's the hub, so that's the center of the exhibit. So we see a big image of Canada seen from space. We worked with the Canadian Space Agency, and the reason why we had this, we show the territory. You notice there's no United States, it's just Canada.
Okay.
And it's just to show that 15,000 years ago, Canada as a concept did not exist, but that's the territory we're talking about in this exhibit. So that's the heart of the exhibit, and around it are 3 galleries, and we present the history of Canada.
Okay.
So beautiful. These are loans from National Archives, the 4 Kings. We have magnificent artifacts throughout the exhibits. We have more than 1,500 artifacts.
1,500 artifacts?
Yes.
So where did you get all the artifacts from?
So a lot of them are from our own collections, and then a smaller percentage from loans from either very big institutions like Library and Archives Canada or Parks Canada, or individuals. We have on loan, a long-term loan, a magnificent portrait of Thomas D'Arcy McGee, and it's lent to us by his great-great-grandson.
Oh, wow. That's exceptional. Okay, so tell us who Douglas Cardinal is.
Douglas Cardinal is the original architect of the Canadian Museum of History, so he worked in the 80s to build that beautiful building that you see on the shores of the river, and we were very, very lucky that he worked with us for the new Canadian History Hall to transform the space and add his iconic curves to it.
Okay, so it must have been like going home for him after all this time.
Absolutely, and he was able also to return to his vision to it. So we were able to feature some architectural features, and what it did is it's all symbolics and metaphor. So the hall and the architecture talk about Canada itself.
Okay, so we still see some amazing visuals.
Yes, this is the entrance. Yes, this is a creation story. The museum is on Anishinaabe territory. So the first thing you see as you go in the hall is a creation story as told from the Anishinaabe people, and that's the language you hear. It also allows us to introduce this idea of multiple perspective. Every event that you hear about or think about, you can think about it through different points of view. And so we see the creation story, and on the other side you have archaeological evidence, 2 different ways of looking at the past.
With the amount of space this is taking, would you say this is the biggest exhibit now in the museum?
Yes, it is. It's the biggest exhibit in the museum. It is certainly the biggest exhibit on Canadian history ever presented.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
You must be so proud of that.
Yes, we are.
And a lot of amazing people obviously helped you choose, like you had advisory committees.
Yes, we consulted a lot. First of all, we consulted with our public, so through focus group kiosks or through the website, we consulted Canadians, and then we set up advisory committees made of scholars, Aboriginal elders, and we distilled all that content, figured out how we're going to say it, and then went through every story one by one, all the way to writing text, consulting, lots of dialogues. We also went and visited and talked to the different communities we're talking about. So it was very important to be able to open up. It's not just the museum's point of view. We went and chose a lot of people to help us.
I mean, we're going back to this. I mean, 15,000 years of Canadian history. That's why I find it a little entertaining how we're celebrating Canada's 150th.
Yes, it's of Confederation.
We've sort of been around since the beginning of time, right?
We have, and there's a lot to say, and it's a rich and beautiful history. What we did, because it's so much, we divided the hall in 3 galleries, because you're able to pace yourself and see a little bit where you're going, and we did it chronologically, and we also added themes so it would make it entertaining, and you were able to take also all that information. I have a colleague who always says you need to have snackable moments, so that you can recall and go through time and be informed.
Okay, what would you say personally is your favorite part of the exhibit?
Oh my goodness, I love this exhibit. So for me, I look left, right, and center, and there are things there that are so meaningful. Whether it's the power of artifacts, and some of them are quite troubling. We have the handcuffs that Louis Riel wore before he was executed, or something that are celebrations, like we have a powwow outfit that was worn for the 2010 Vancouver Olympics by this Amanda LaRocque. It's gorgeous and colorful. You have all kinds of stuff, and you have, for instance, a tiny little artifact, it's not more than 2 inches tall, of a little carving, and it's the first face, the first depiction of someone living on this territory, almost 4,000 years old. It's gorgeous.
Exceptional. How long has this exhibit been
in the making?
The whole making.
Yes,
process?
it took us, for some people in the team, 5 years. So I'd say a good 4.5, 5 years.
And now it's open in time for Canada's 150th.
Absolutely, we need to celebrate.
That's very exciting. Summer hours?
Yes, also extended hours for the summer, of course, because I think we're going to have an awful lot of people coming in. So, of course, we're extending the hours, and depending on the day, so it's all on our website.
historymuseum.ca.
Absolutely.
We look forward to, I'm going to definitely enjoy this summer. The Canadian Museum of History, the Canadian History Hall. Chantal, thank you very much for being here.
Pleasure.
And we have more Daytime Ottawa coming up in moments on Rogers TV.